don't forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack making backflip. Telly Hank did with the action. With the Vato speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews, how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May. Just caught a touchdown from the Bay.
And a lot of rappers are paying tribute to Hutch tonight. Among them, Ice Wear, Vezo, Sada Baby, Babytron, and Doughboys Cash Out. Now, even though Oak Park police have a suspect in custody, they are still asking anyone with information about what happened here earlier today to come forward.
It's a lot to take in here. It's complicated, and this investigation is far from over. But for the first time since this happened back in June, we're learning a theory as to motive here. Sources telling Fox 2 that a local attorney is the mastermind behind it all. Back in the spring, he allegedly wrote up a will for Daniel Hutchinson, putting himself in that will, and that's where the plot, the murder for hire plot, started.
Hey guys, Daniel Hutchinson was gunned down in this vacant lot behind me. Police tell me the suspect approached him as he was leaving his pawn shop and getting into his SUV. Sources tell me his wife was also in that truck, but thankfully was not hurt. Beloved jeweler Daniel Hutchinson is dead after someone opened fire on his SUV. It happened outside H&J Pawn Shop on Greenfield in Oak Park Wednesday afternoon. His loved ones consoled one another as police combed the scene. Fox 2 spoke with one of his friends after the shooting. He's still wrapping his head around what happened.
My brother worked for him. You know, bro gave me a call. It was like something happened up there with, his name was Hutch, and I ran up here just to see, but I know he's a good guy. That's all I can really think about it. I don't understand this.
Police received several 911 calls about the shooting. Officers responded and performed CPR on Hutchinson before he was rushed to Ascension Providence Hospital in Southfield, where he succumbed to his wounds. Police say the gunman fled the scene, but officers caught up with him shortly after. That suspect is now in custody. Hutchinson owned the pawn shop as well as the popular Hutch's Jewelry about a mile north from where he was gunned down. His clientele included average Detroiters and those entrenched in the city's hip-hop scene.
Especially just being from Detroit, one of the things you do when you get some money, you want to go spend it with Hutch and get you some buffs or get you a chain. Like it's important.
Philando Merriweather is the CEO of the Hip Hop Lab and one of Hutchinson's many customers who went to the jeweler for necklaces, diamond-encrusted pendants, and Cartier glasses.
Yeah, it's a blow to the city. It's out of nowhere too. You know what I'm saying? That's the craziest thing. Like Detroit and Hutch are synonymous with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like out-of-towners, they come here to get busts specifically from Hutch because the rappers have made it famous in the music, so it's gonna be a real big loss to the hip hop community for sure.
This is the trio facing charges in a murder for hire plot to kill well-known jeweler with a celebrity client list, Daniel Hutchinson. We are learning it could go much deeper, and a person of interest, a local attorney, is likely the mastermind behind it all. We cannot name him because he's not been charged yet. Several corroborating sources tell Fox 2, like so many crimes similar to this, it traces back to money. That attorney we're referring to is the person of interest in an investigation that has taken investigators on twists and turns since June 1st. That's when 47-year-old Hutch was shot and killed in his SUV in front of his jewelry store off Greenfield in Oak Park. His wife Marissa in the passenger seat, she was not hurt. It was this man, police say, 44-year-old Roy Larry, that rode up on a bicycle, pulled out a gun, and murdered Hutch midday. Then the investigation broke open, leading to more charges against Roy's relative, 57-year-old Darnell Larry, allegedly in on the plot. And above them, sources tell us, was 32-year-old Angelo Reptopoulos, also charged. According to court documents, Raptopoulos hit with a solicitation charge. That charge associated with the plot to also kill Marissa Hutchinson. Back to the motive. Several sources close to the investigation tell Fox 2 the local attorney we mentioned earlier is connected to Raptopoulos and had a lot to gain from this couple being dead. We are told the attorney befriended Hutch, then became a business associate who he trusted enough to draft a will that included the attorney. Hutch signed that will, likely without knowing the attorney inserted himself into it. That attorney has a documented history seen in court records in a civil suit against him. It's alleged that the attorney swindled an elderly man from Detroit into deeding over several properties in Detroit and in Washtenaw County, totaling hundreds of thousands of dollars. Then months later, after the quitclaims deeds were approved, the elderly man died inside of his Southwest Detroit home. An autopsy reads it was of natural causes, but speculation on his death remains from those close to him. We're told that civil lawsuit was eventually settled between the elderly man's family and the attorney now at the center of the Hutch murder investigation.
Yo, what's the word? It's your guy Popalot. Mobb. We on our way to Michigan with it. And you know we stopping in the D. All my guys from Detroit, y'all get in the comment box, run that bitch up. Y'all already know this like home base for the Mobb. Now, today we are going to be covering somebody that's very familiar and well known, and I want to say well loved in the city. And the person that I'm speaking of is going to be a gentleman by the name of Daniel Hutchinson. Like I just stated, he was well loved in the city, but he would grow to be known by many people far from Detroit when rappers like Icewear Vezo, as well as Sada Baby, would go on to solidify him in their lyrics. Now, just those few bars in those songs could not come close to tell you who he was just as a jeweler, as he would have a celebrity list of clientele. But sometimes when you're well loved and you're successful, that makes you a target. And in the beginning of the summer, on June 2nd, 2022, Hutch, who was 47 at the time, would end up being shot multiple times while sitting in a vehicle with his wife outside of a pawn shop that he owned, not far from a jewelry store that is legendary in Detroit due to their high-profile client list. It would only be a few days before the Detroit police would arrest a 44-year-old man by the name of Ray Dontalari and what was called a targeted hit on Daniel Hutchinson. Now, Roy Larry, remember what I told y'all about trusting people with two first names too, would end up being charged with first-degree murder as well as possession of a firearm during the course of a felony. We're going to fast forward through the summer to September 15th of 2022, because that's where this gets very, very interesting, because that's where authorities would arrest a 57-year-old man by the name of Darnell Larry, who was a relative of Roy Larry, as well as a 32-year-old man by the name of Angelo James Retropoulos. But it doesn't stop there, because at the top of this plot to assassinate Hutch would be a Michigan attorney who the media has yet to name due to the fact that he hasn't been charged. But according to Fox Detroit 2, they're going to say that authorities have evidence to show that this attorney wrote himself into the will of Daniel Hutchinson, I'm assuming naming himself as the sole beneficiary without Daniel Hutchinson's knowledge. Now, if you ask me, it's just a matter of time before his name comes out, because this plan just sounds sloppy at best. It's a Mickey Mouse operation, and that's going to be an insult to Mickey Mouse, because essentially authorities arrested the shooter the day after, and it wouldn't be 2 months before they begin to arrest multiple suspects. How long before one of them crack on the attorney? Now, y'all make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, POP_A_LOT. Y'all hit the red subscribe right under this video so y'all know when this real trill spill shit is dropping. Y'all get in the comment box below and flood that bitch. Let me know what cities I haven't been to, what stories we missed, what gangsters we haven't covered, what we got wrong, all of that. And y'all know I'm going to be back like ASAP. It's your boy Popalot. Mobb, mob, mob.